morning, everyone. Chill Girl Chrissy here, Alderman in Ward 6, and another segment of the Chill and Heal show. Super excited for my guest, Steve Stepanek, Senior Advisor to President Trump, former Chair of the Republican Party, and former State Rep of New Hampshire, and he is calling in from Florida. Thank you, Steve, for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Chrissy. It's a pleasure.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. You know, I always learn so much with even our smallest conversations. And so we've been on the campaign trail for quite a while, and you started with President Trump way back before 2016. Can you share a little bit about, because you've been on my show before, but how you were the first to have a house party for him?
Yes, so going back, that would be in March of 2015. Corey Lewandowski, who I've known for a very long time, had just been hired as the campaign manager for President Trump. At that time, it was Donald Trump, and reached out to me and said, could we do, Mr. Trump would like to do a meet and greet in New Hampshire, and can we do it at your house? And I said, absolutely. And so Corey showed up with his crew that day and moved all the furniture out of the first floor of my house and put it in the garage. And we hosted almost 250 people and 20 news crews. It was sort of pandemonium. But that was the first and only house party that Donald Trump did, because every event after that got bigger and bigger. And then in June and that was before he announced. And even back then, he was talking about the borders being unsecure. He was talking about how China was ripping us off, and how we had to make America great again, and we had to put America first. And then when he announced in June of 2015 that he was running, because Corey asked me right away, would I endorse Mr. Trump? And I said, well, quite frankly, Corey, I'm not sure that he's going to actually announce, or is this just another, part of his publicity for his show? And but I said, I'll make a commitment to you. The day he announces that he's running is the day I will endorse him. And so, sure enough, in June he announced, and then flew up to Manchester, New Hampshire. And I introduced and endorsed him at Manchester Community College. And according to Corey, that made me the first, I was a state rep at the time, that made me the first elected official to publicly endorse and support Donald Trump in the country. And I've been on board working in various aspects of his campaign ever since. And obviously, I am currently a senior advisor to President Trump, and very excited about this second election. As exciting as the first one was, the second one was even more exciting. And I think anybody who's a Trump person is seeing the change that's occurred since the election just over 2 weeks ago. Used to be I'd be out and I would be proudly wearing my
MAGA hat,
Trump hat, or have Trump stickers on my truck, and people would give me a thumbs up, or they'd quietly whisper, "I like your hat." But now everybody's openly displaying their hats, openly displaying their support for the president, openly displaying their support for Make America Great Again and putting America first. And it's really exciting to see how many people are out there who are supporting the president. It's overwhelming. We have a mandate, and people have had it with the DEI, ESG stuff that the Democrats have been out there spewing. And people just want to get back to being normal, and they want the country to go back to being normal. Mm-hmm. And normal means that men don't play in women's sports, men don't go into women's bathrooms or women's lockers, and we make sure that American citizens are first, not illegal immigrants who've come across the border. and we're going to make this country a great country for American citizens, and people who want to come to this country are very welcome to come, but they have to come legally. And so it's a renaissance. It's a renewal, and quite frankly, I get my entertainment every day by watching all of the pundits on The View or CNN or MSNBC melt down on camera, and their heads are exploding on camera, and it's a really wonderful thing.
It is. It's hysterical. We're in crazy but amazing times. Reality is sinking in that the truth is going to prevail, and I've been so grateful to be a part of the campaign in Manchester and the great group of people that Dave Bear, Cooch, everyone that has just come out. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I always say I woke up in 2020 to what's going on, to all this patriotism, and it's just so beautiful, and people putting their careers, everything on the line, saying no to the vaccine, saying, hey, health freedom. And I want to jump right into Make America Healthy Again with Robert Kennedy Jr. and that endorsement. And, what's important for us Americans and us Manchester people is we want to be safe, we want to be healthy, and we don't want to be lied to anymore. And we're just ordinary people. And what's been beautiful is all the ordinary people in New Hampshire standing up against the establishment, against this deep state, against all of the insanity and all of the lies. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Right, it is. And first of all, I want to thank you because I know you worked your tail off in Manchester. You were my Manchester City captain for the Trump campaign. You were on board early in the primary, just as the primary was getting going. So you were a very early and consistent supporter. So thank you so much for that. And essentially, the Democrats, their heads are exploding, and they can't figure out what they did wrong and why Trump won. And I will tell you that very early on, not only in New Hampshire but across the country, we took the approach, and it was called Trump Force 47, where we went down into the weeds. We talked to low propensity voters, average voters. And as one thing we did a little bit different here in New Hampshire is with Joe Sweeney, who's a state rep, we built a model for the ideal Trump voter and overlaid it on our population. And we ended up with almost 60,000 people who were 80% probable Trump voters who were not registered to vote in New Hampshire. And we spent, we didn't have a lot of assets because we weren't considered a key swing state, but with the volunteers like you and thousands of others, we knocked on these doors, we made phone calls to these people, and we took a page out of the book of the Democrats. For years, the Democrats have been motivating college students to go out and same-day register to vote, and they created 10 or 15,000 new voters that way, and we always lamented that, that wasn't right, and, talked about potentially changing the same-day registration laws that we have. Well, this time we went out and got our voters who were low propensity voters who were not registered to vote, and we got them to get to the polls, and we got them to register on Election Day. And I will tell you, same-day registrations went through the roof in New Hampshire for 2024. They're still calculating it, but I know that, for example, in Salem, there were 2,600 new registrations on Election Day. In Hooksett, there were 1,300, I believe. I know in Derry, there were 1,900. In my little town of Thornton up north here, there were 300. And the amazing thing, overwhelmingly, those people who are registering to vote, same day registering to vote, were Republicans, hardworking New Hampshire citizens who were registering, who hadn't been involved, who got involved to support the president. And even though we came close, a lot closer than anybody thought, to winning New Hampshire for the president, but we had a major impact on down ballot races. And we took out state reps, for example, over in Stoddard, New Hampshire. We took out Dan Eaton, who was a 17-term, 34 years incumbent Democrat, and we took him out. We took out Donna Soucy in Manchester.
Victoria Sullivan won. That was amazing.
And those wins were directly attributable to the number of new Republican voters who registered on Election Day. So we turned the tables on the Democrats, and we got Republicans. Now, obviously, our job going forward is to keep all of these patriots engaged, fully engaged, as we go forward in the elections in 2026. So I want to thank you and all the other volunteers who worked their tail off to make this happen. And that was a policy that the Trump team put in place early on in the general election cycle, and it was dubbed Trump Force 47, and it had obviously huge results and huge success throughout the country. And we got Americans involved. We got people to say, you know what, enough is enough. Yeah. We've had it. And we're going to stand up for our country, and we're not going to be silent anymore. And I get very frustrated, and when the Democrats keep talking about misinformation, disinformation. The people who were spewing the most disinformation and misinformation were the Democrats themselves. Yeah. The masks didn't work, and they knew it, and yet they forced us to wear masks. The vaccine, although beneficial for people who were in high-risk categories, were not necessary for the vast majority of people, especially children. When they forced those vaccines on us as a mandate. People should have a choice. The information that they were giving us was incorrect, and in fact, they were the disseminators of misinformation. They were they would classify people as spewing misinformation because they said masks don't work. And they knew the masks didn't work. Yeah. So they were the ones who were spreading misinformation. And we, I think, have learned a valuable lesson that we do not give that kind of authority to any government official in the future, and that the citizens have the right to get all the information regardless of what source it comes from.
Exactly. And that is why I am 100% for health freedom, freedom of speech, the whole 9 yards. And it's like, I think the beautiful thing is what you were talking about is getting people engaged, and how many people were silent, and now they're not being silent anymore. In Manchester, people showed up at the alderman meeting, Mayor BMA, Tuesday night to call out all of us and hold us accountable on our vote for tearing down a Beach Street school and literally stealing a park from the inner city of Manchester. I mean, so many people came out, and it's just so important that we stay engaged and hold us elected officials responsible for our decisions and our promises. And what I love about President Trump is promises made, promises kept. And any elected official are going to make promises and they're not going to keep it, then we, the people, need to hold them accountable. And Manchester residents came out and spoke loud and clear, and I'm grateful that everything is on pause for Beach Street, and all of that needs to be exposed for what it is. And President Trump and everyone leading the way on accountability and transparency, what a blessing to really chill and heal our nation and bring us back to normalcy, like what we all want, not insanity of boys going in girls' locker rooms and et cetera. You know what's unreal, Steve, is I'm on a couple committees in Manchester, and They want to build the police department. I'm always back the blue, a woman's locker room. And I was grateful to ask that simple question, biological women only? And he said yes. So we need to protect women's rights, and I appreciate Chief Aldenberg for all of his service to Manchester, and he is retiring officially this week. It's just so important to back our blue, but keep things sane and not insane. So just wanted to share the importance of asking questions that are even uncomfortable. Because when I did ask that question to Girls Inc., and when I got a different answer, which was, she said, I said, is her program biological girls only? And she's like, anyone who identifies as a female. And I'm like, okay, thank you for that clarification. I think it's just so important that we have to ask these questions, even if they're uncomfortable. And people are doing it.
No, there's no question about it. And again, I think what has happened is that this election, not only did we elect a great leader in Donald Trump, but we've spoke loud and clear up and down the ballot that we want to turn back to normalcy, that the craziness that's being spewed by the Democrats is just unacceptable, and we just want to be normal, and we want to focus on American citizens, and people who come to this country legally are welcome. Those who come illegally are not welcome, and we need to send them home, and they can follow the legal routes that many other people have done. And this idea that you can just flood across the border and with no background check or anything else is unacceptable. We've let literally hundreds of thousands of criminals into our country, and that's just unacceptable. I mean, it's, we do have our own homegrown criminals, and we take care of making sure that our country is safe from them, but we don't need to import more criminals, known criminals, into this country from other countries. And but I want to just digress a little bit, because I get a lot of comments, and then I'm going to have to run in a few minutes. But before that's over, I've been fielding just tons of calls about people asking about, how do they go to the inauguration or inauguration tickets and so on. This is going to be probably one of the largest inauguration audiences in history. I will tell you that they're just putting together the inauguration team, so there will be information coming out and websites coming out on how to register to get your inauguration ticket. But be patient. It's going to be another couple of weeks before they have that up and running. So probably, and we will be sending out notifications through the Trump team on when the websites come up, how to go register for the websites and get your inauguration tickets. But right now, they're just now setting up the inauguration committee and putting that all together. So it's going to be another couple of weeks. Just be patient. But, everybody who wants to attend the inauguration will be able to attend the inauguration.
Which is going to be unbelievable.
Absolutely.
It's so unbelievable. I'm so excited. Can we jump over to Caroline Lovett? I mean, when I first met her when she was running for Congress, I loved her. I just had so much respect for her. What an amazing, extraordinary woman, and new mom. And now called to be press secretary for President Trump. I mean, that's a win for New Hampshire as well as our nation. And you've worked closely with her, and she is like so kind and so real and just a fighter, and gets out the information, which is what a blessing to all of us.
She is. I've known Caroline since she was running in the primary, that when I was chairman of the party, and she was one of the primary candidates in CD1, and immediately it was like, I can't believe this young lady is I think she was only 24 or 23 at the time when she was running for Congress.
Yep.
And she ran rings around all her opponents and won a very decisive victory in the primary.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to say, just, she's a spitfire.
Yeah.
And she's intelligent. She doesn't back down. And she knows what she's talking about. She doesn't need a binder to read from.
Yep.
So she's going to be an excellent press secretary,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm proud to know her and call her my friend.
Oh, me too. I'm like so grateful, and it's just really beautiful what's happening in across our nation, in Manchester. And so what's next for you, Steve? I know that you have to go in a couple minutes, but I mean, I know you're so busy.
Yes, I will. Right now, they're just setting up the transition team, and I anticipate that I will be a member of the transition team and working to make sure that we get people who are Trump supporters, Trump loyalists, and then B, that are very competent. We've got over 9,000 positions that we have to fill, that the Trump administration has to fill as far as political appointees. And unlike in the past, where we had holdovers while we were trying to get our people approved and into these slots, the president has indicated that on day one, when he says I do, 9,000 pink slips will go out to all of the Biden, Harris / Obama appointees who are holding these positions will be immediately laid off. And then we will have the transition team will be, and we're just starting now, obviously focused on the key cabinet positions,
Mm-hmm.
but we will be filling those 9,000 slots with people who are loyal to the president, who are competent to do the job, and primarily we're looking to downsize the government.
Amen.
And I will tell you that Elon Musk and Ramaswamy are out there putting together an organization of people to look at efficiencies within the government. And the first thing they're going to do is tell all the federal employees, you got to come back and to the office and work 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people, but the vast majority of federal employees went on, remote work during COVID and are still on remote work 4 years later. And they need to come back to the office. They need to work 5 days a week like everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's obviously a lot of kicking and screaming going on about even the thought of them going back and having to work a whole 5 days every week. But that is going to be the first step. And then we're just looking at regulations that need to be revisited and eliminated. And as we eliminate regulations, and we need to look at, do we really need this department? Is it really doing anything good for the citizens of America? Or is it just something to keep a bunch of federal employees employed? And
Great questions.
If it's a beneficial department that is actually doing good for American citizens, then it will be continued. If it's just another bureaucratic nightmare, then it's going to be eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the regulations and hoops that they make everybody jump through just because they can, those are going to be eliminated. So it's going to be a very exciting time, and I'm excited to participate in it. I just want to make sure we have the right people in the right place, supporting the president, supporting the America First agenda. And we're not going to have people within the administration this cycle who are going to be out there trying to
Sabotage.
subvert the president's agenda. and leaking all over the place.
Oh, well, I'm so excited and so grateful. And thank you so much for calling in, taking your time, because I know how busy you are, to share.
It's always, Chrissy, it's always my pleasure. I enjoy working with you, and I'm more than happy to talk to your audience at any point in time. And thank you, Manchester, for the support that you gave the president and all the Republicans that you elected this cycle. And thank you for the support that you give to Chrissy as an alderman. She is doing a fabulous job for you. And get involved, stay involved, and keep supporting Chrissy.
Oh,
and with that, I'll take off.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve, and have a beautiful day. And hello to Ellen, too.
I will.
All right. Enjoy
Bye-bye.
some sunshine. Thank you. Bye-bye. Wow. All the blessings that have come from getting out the vote and standing up and speaking up has been just extraordinary. And we can't stop. We got to keep questioning. We got to keep asking, how are our is our government spending our money? What are the rules, who's allowed to get the money? Illegal aliens, immigrants. What is it, Are we housing illegals, or are we housing our own home, our veterans? And we need to take care of our veterans, people that, need the real help. I think it's just so important that we keep speaking up, showing up. And I will do a video. I keep saying I'm going to do a video on what to do when you get to City Hall. Climb the stairs, go to the third floor into the alderman chambers, mayors and alderman chambers, and go to the right and sign up for 3 minutes. You have to be there at before 7 p.m. on the BMA meetings. And let's see. Oh, I'm wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving. It's just around the corner. And thank you to Chief Aldenberg for your continued support and making Manchester safe again. And have a great day. Let's chill on, and God bless Manchester and America.